Viborg were just what we needed. They were competitive, they were energetic, but ultimately not good enough to beat us. And I'd mentioned in the build-up that I fancied this game as being a remedy. It was what we needed to remedy, well, basically the ills of the start of the season. And you couldn't really have handpicked a better team, actually. Just enough. A forward with just enough about him to sort of give Ogbonna a game, rough him up a bit, but not enough to expose the fact that Ogbonna is not fit yet. So I thought that was another really good run out for Ogbonna in many respects. I'm going to talk about a few of the things that I saw in the game, but in many respects, the Ogbonna situation is probably my biggest plus point from the tie. But it's not just sort of remedying the I guess the motivation of the team and giving a bit of spring in everybody's step. It's actually the scoring of goals because, well, we haven't scored a Premier League goal all season. And to win 3-0 with 3 different goal scorers has got to be very, very good for us. And I was particularly pleased with the performance of Scamacca because I thought that was his best game. And the reason I thought that was his best game is because I saw different things from him. I don't know if you saw later on in the second half, he played a pass through, which Benrahma ran onto. And actually, Benrahma had a really good game, but he sort of squared it to Maxwell Cornet. Cornet fluffed his lines, didn't think he had a great game, to be honest. But it was nice to see the incisive pass from Scamacca. He will score goals. I know he can score goals. The header that we saw in the last round was very much an instinctive striker's bit of movement, really good, powerful header. Saw in the first half in this game that he had a snapshot. Yeah, he had the opportunity to shoot quickly. He did it. He tried to curl it around the goalkeeper. And in the end, the goalkeeper saved comfortably. But it was an eye for goal. His intent was clear. It was direct and it was purposeful. And you could just see it was the instinct of somebody that's a finisher. The goal itself was really good. And again, I think whilst he finished it well, a lot of it was about the movement. He seems to be able to create a bit of space for himself in and around the box and just find a spare yard, and he'll direct his shot on goal. There was a header earlier on in the game as well. He was probably a little bit too much of an acute angle, but he sort of directed it and tried to flick it on. It was a pretty good header, and he seems to get a lot of purchase and a lot of power over everything that he does, which I was really pleased to see that. But some of the link-up play was better. It was something that I wasn't overly impressed with the first few times I've seen him. But I think on this instance, when David Moyes says he's not ready, he's getting him up to speed, I think I sort of understand it. I don't think it's the finishing. I do think it's fitness and it's his touch around the box. But he is a different player to Michail Antonio. And when David Moyes talks about finding a different way to play, I think certainly it's easy to just look at, particularly the way we're a little bit insipid, a little bit impotent down the middle. And, well, we'll see. By the time this video goes live, anything could have happened with that Paqueta deal. So I don't want to talk about him too much at the moment. But you almost think that maybe he's going to sort of spruce it up with a more creative player in the centre of the park. But actually, just having Scamacca in there and getting crosses into him is really changing the way that we play, because he's a constant threat from there, really. So I was really pleased with what I saw from him. I was also really pleased with Benrahma as well, and that's, Benrahma's had a number of good games, and I think it was nice to actually see him be subbed with the group of players. Let me just put my glasses on so I can have a quick look at this. So yeah, there was loads. Antonio came on for Scamacca, Downs for Souček, it was Coventry for Benrahma, Zuma for Cresswell, and Lanzini for Rocco Flex was sort of later on. But I think it was nice to see Benrahma involved in those substitutions, because it sort of showed, it's basically Moyes saying, I'm saving you. You're going to play against Aston Villa. And rightly so, he should start ahead of Cornet. Cornet's, I guess again, Moyes is sort of right on that, really. Cornet's not quite ready, but I don't think it's a fitness thing. I just don't think he is attuned to the way we play yet. He's offside an awful lot. It was, a few of us mentioned it after the first couple of times we've seen him play. If Moyes didn't know it then, he'll certainly know it now. So they probably need to work on that a little bit. He'll be disappointed he didn't pop that ball away, but the one that Benrahma crossed over, I thought it was, number one, it's a good ball from Benrahma. I thought it was really unselfish and showed Benrahma to be a team player. So I'm really pleased to see him blooming, I guess. He was blooming brilliant. No, flowering. He's seems to be coming of age, and that's really good. And if we are going to sort of alter the style and the way we play, then well, we've already got somebody in Benrahma in the team who's technically good, and it was nice to see him. I think playing in the middle as well today, which is really good, and I think that's something that I'm looking forward to seeing more and more with the team. Is the flexibility of changing positions and players that can play in a number of positions. In fact, we'll talk about a couple in just a second, which will be Keira and Ben Johnson. Before I do talk about that, do you like fantasy football? If you do, click that link underneath the screen here and download the Spitch app to your phone. It's the next generation of fantasy football. In fact, never mind do you like fantasy football, do you think you're good at fantasy football? If you do, join Spitch, back yourself, and give yourself the opportunity to win some money at it. It's free to download, it's free to join, and there are a number of free games that you can enter where you can win prizes. In fact, all over each game week, there are up to £70,000 worth of prizes available on Spitch. They're kindly sponsoring this video. They're affiliated with our mates over at One Football. And what we've done at Hammers Chat, we've created our own little mini league. You can join for free, join up, just do a little search in the communities tab and search for Hammers Chat, join our mini league, and you can battle it out with myself and Gio. It's 1-1 at the moment. I've got to buck my ideas up. I had a bad week last week. So come and join us on that. And if you want to, then you can get involved in some of the other games. It is 18 and above because it is gambling and it is only available in certain countries. Check it out. The link is below. That's Spitch. Okay, Ben Johnson. I thought Ben Johnson played okay, played well. And I understand, a lot of people are going to say with these videos, okay, it was only Viborg of these matches. But you still got to play well, and you've still got to get some confidence from somewhere, and that's why I think these were good games, and these were important games for us, actually. And I think for Ben Johnson to play the first few games at centre-half and not play particularly well, but then to move to right-back for this game and to play well, I think that's a good thing. I also thought Keira, aside from the slip, I'm going to assume you watched the game and you saw that. Aside from the slip, I thought he played really well. And actually, so he was crucial in the third goal, because the third goal was, I think the cross came over from Cresswell. Keira got up and headed the ball. He heads the ball well. I mean, look, he's not the biggest. He's actually a small centre-half, right? But he gets up and he manages to find space, and the keeper made a save, and Souček came in and scored on the rebound, which would be really, really good for Souček. And let's just make the point as well that Souček got the assist for Scamacca's goal. The other goal, just in case you don't know, was assisted by Cornet, scored by Benrahma, which I think that was Benrahma basically trying to repay the favour later on. But Keira played well. Again, a good game for him to get bedded in. The striker for Viborg is physical, he's quite quick, but ultimately lacks outright quality, which was really good. The Ogbonna situation, I've already... the reason I smile about the Ogbonna situation, it's like a scene at a Pulp Fiction, but not, if you know what I mean. So I was pleased to see him play. Let's just talk about Souček for a second. Look, Souček played well in this game. There's no two ways about it, but it didn't alleviate my concerns. My concerns are that Souček is playing out of position. He's vacating the midfield area. And I think you can get away with it. I think you can do it against Viborg. I mean, again, the amount of times you saw Lanzini sort of with the burden of the work in the middle, because I mentioned it at a couple of games. Actually, it's not just that he's up front. He's often wide quite a lot. And again, we saw it in this game. Souček is basically the guy playing 1-2s with Ben Johnson down there. It's quite weird. Look, it works. It worked. It really did, because Souček got a goal and Souček put the crossover for Scamacca's goal. But it's still something, I think, at the top level. When I say the top level, I mean at Premier League level. When we try that there, it doesn't work. We've got massive gaps. We vacate the midfield area. So, I'm not overly... He played well, but I'm concerned. That is a concern to me. Lanzini, of course, played in the middle. I've read some comments. We need to sell Lanzini and this, that, and the other. Lanzini didn't have a good game. But that being said, the calls to sell him, we can't afford to sell any more players. I don't mean monetarily. I mean, it's taken us a long time to get our squad up to good squad numbers, and we can't. I just don't think we should be letting anybody else go. We're starting to get the makings, I think, in terms of numbers of a good squad. I think the ultimate player, which would obviously be Paqueta. I don't even want to talk about him because I think he's so good. I'm going to be disappointed if it doesn't happen. But I think someone like that is a marquee signing and the cherry on the cake. That makes the squad strengthening look really good, because what you've done is you've brought in an outstanding player, very much in the mould of what David Moyes said, which I want to bring players in who are better than what we have in the team. And obviously he blows everybody else out the water who would play in his position. That basically he would be the best attacking player at West Ham. There's no doubt about it at all. Flynn Downs, I'd be disappointed not to start. But I can't criticise Moyes for not starting Flynn Downs. He picked a team and we won, comfortably, and we're through. We're through to the group stage, which possibly by the time you've watched this, the group stage will have been drawn and you'll know who it is. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I think this is really good for us. It's really good for those players like Flynn Downs, players that are trying to settle. It gives David Moyes an avenue to use to get these players fit, to get them acquainted with the tactics and their teammates and adjusted to whatever it is he wants to do. It was nice for Antonio to get a little run out, and I think looking at that, you look at what situation we were in last season and where we are now. Antonio would have almost been knackered by now already, because he would have played all the league games, would have played sort of almost 90 minutes in both European games. But now he's rested. Now he's really, really fit. And I think he's sharp. And I think when he plays against Aston Villa, I do believe he will start. I think he's going to be an absolute menace. And actually, I thought, to be honest with you, he's not looked too bad in any of the games, really. I just think he's not had the support. There were a couple of times, I felt, in this game when the ball was played up to Scamacca. We launched it to his head, but there was nobody within sort of 10, 15 yards of him. There was almost nobody. Well, it was not almost. There was nobody for him to head it to. So I think there's a little bit of naivety in that. So I think we've got to stop doing that and maybe only launch it to his head. Unless he's in the box, of course. If he's near the goal, he can try and head it. But I'm talking when he's dropped deeper as a target, man. There's no point launching it to his head if there's nobody for him to head it to. He's not going to head it 20 yards, is he? Let's be honest. I know, so he can generate some power, but not quite that much. But all in all, you know what? It was a really good game. It was really good endeavour. Right team at the right time, as I said before. Hopefully, the antidote to our Premier League issues. I guess we won't know until we get to Villa. But I'll tell you what, through to the group stage, if we can beat Villa, if we can get this signing over the line, then I tell you what, things will look a whole lot rosier.